left-hand one, it was a 4 or 5, I can't remember, but basically a long iron, okay? You look at the blue line there with your hand's now working away from the bottom. This is your before, okay? Yeah. So gap. This is your gap between your arm there. Yeah. At this point here now, where the club kind of gets level with the target line, your hands are moved away from the body. Okay, so from that position now, with your hands continue to go up, that club's going to whip inside. If we look at this one here on the right, as you go back, your left arm now, the gap there's a lot narrower between. You just turned your chest and torso, so your left arm now is more snug into your side there. So there's less forearm rotation. So the club itself, this club here now is more that way, whereas that club's slightly more upright, you see. So it's slightly more open, which is then you continue on into the backswing. Now the wrist here, that club's opening even more. At this position, the club now is probably a good 20 degrees open. Whereas this, as you start going back, the club you can see now is staying on a square axis around the shaft itself. The club's moving and aiming to the right, but it's doing this rather than rotating, okay? And then top of the back swing, yes, it's still a little bit steep at the top there, but not as steep compared to where you were there. If you look at sort of the way the right shoulder, your left arm there, this is more down in some ways, okay? There's a bit less daylight between your right shoulder. Exactly, yeah. And again, it's only moved that much, but it feels that much, and the ball flight with your 5 iron there was very good. The good thing is the club's in the square position from there now, okay? Now the down thing with the club coming down, nice transition down, clubs gets dropped behind you, back into a good position, club nice and square, good strike of the ball, and then a full release to target. And I say your 5 iron was going about the 195-ish after a bit of roll, your 4 iron was going up the low 200s. So you got to look at something, okay, well,
like
is it
10 with a shot
to
the green?
Yeah, and I think it as well. And again, the biggest thing from me, and the one thing I was more concerned about, was the actual dispersion between the good and the bad of the 4 iron and the 5 iron. The 5 iron, we said, changed 12 yards. The 4 iron changed 50 yards. And that, for me, is like, yes, you might get 6 yards, but you might lose 60. So if you look at a betting thing, would you bet a 2-horse race where, yeah, I'll bet 60 quid on the potential to win £6?
Kind of that frustrating.
Yeah. And I think, don't get me wrong, in time, you may well start finding your game's improving a bit more and your swing starts getting more in sync, and then, exactly, you're playing more, you might find that your 4 irons go another 5 yards further, it becomes a justifiable club to have in the bag. But, at the moment, I always say, when I'm playing my less good golf, I'd say the word worse, but my less good golf, I use my driver less. And when it's even worse, I use my 3-wood less. When it's even worse, I use my high. So I'm just getting the ball around the golf course with like 4 and 5 iron, because I know I can hit 4 iron, reasonably good at my level to get onto most par 4s. It doesn't really matter. I can hit those 2 clubs rather than trying to drive a 7 iron and hit the drive in the tree somewhere. Okay, I'll hit 4 iron down the fairway, a bit scabby, but it'll get down there somewhere and knock something on the green. So I'm keeping the ball in play. I'm not destroying the swing. But yeah, maybe think when you're out there tomorrow.
Those 4 lobs, even if I go 1 on each, I'd have had a 38.
Well, exactly, yeah. That's a handicap cut, yeah.
Yeah, the winner is what you want.
Yeah, see there, exactly. And no doubt with the other 14 holes you played, there was a couple of shots and then you could have gone, I didn't have to make that shot there, or I could have saved one there. And it's always worth looking back on your game and think, okay, where did I lose some shots? Was it mental decisions I made, or executions, whatever it may be? Yeah, the greens this time are going to be a bit tricky anyway, to be fair. So, but does that make sense? So with the take, I think again, it's not a digression back in terms of ability. It's just you've gone back into old habits which just do die hard. So try and change that.